Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? Welcome to the 95 North Sports Machine, man. I am your host, Berto, joined by my brother, Smitty Smooth. 10.5K, let's just put it that way, because this man is steadily climbing the charts. And of course, we got our brother RJATL for life, the plug in the building. Hopefully, he'll make it. Our brother Chris A1, tip A1 forever. Hopefully, he'll make it soon. I know he has some things to do, but we'll hold it down in the meantime, man. Fellas, the draft is behind us. It was a great week. A lot of head scratching things that this Falcons community might have said happened with that eight pick, but we hope to shed some light. And now that the everything has calmed down, so to say, man, everything should be back to normal within this Falcons community, hopefully. But first, man, before we get into anything, man, roll call real quick. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. As a matter of fact, we got a special person in the chat right here. Our brother Kev Bro Talk off season mode who joined us on night one of the NFL draft, man. Appreciate you coming through. My little brother, Tyreek Lowe, what's going on, buddy? He's at work. No, hold on. He's at work, but he's tuning in. Ain't that something?
Get
Get your
your ass
invite number, boy, so I can get your ass fired. Big bro always hating, but no, shout out to you, little bro, man. Love you, kid. William Amy's in the building. Mr. Wallace Smith is in the house. Mama Carmen is in the house. Hi, mom. Hope all is well with you.
my dude.
Yes, yes. William Amy, as always, man. He's in the building. Funeral services is in the house, man.
Change
Charlene
that name. I
Samuels.
keep telling you that.
Charlene Samuels in the house as well. Tony Wright, our brother Tony Wright. Michael's in the building. The birdcage is in the building. Clay is in the house. Man, the chat is already lit. But fellas, draft is behind us. Roster for actually not the roster, but the draft picks are set. What do you guys make of it? We're gonna run through picks from the first round to the sixth round. The Falcons had three picks in the sixth round and ended with the former Georgia Bulldog. So, how do you want to start this thing off, Smith? You want to go right off the rip, Smith, and address this
Ah,
whole Michael Penix situation, bro?
hey man, look. Before I get started, man, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Mama Berto.
Yeah,
My boy, let's get it. GA man, he in the chat donating already. So thank you, man. Appreciate that. But before I address that, man, 999 super chat. Dinner on
yes,
me,
sir.
half a chicken tender plate. Yeah, I get a strip and a half of 999. Things don't went up, especially at Chick-fil-A.
Hey,
But
damn.
the Michael Penix situation, man. First pick in the draft, and it was a shock to a lot of people, not me, because like I said, and like I told Berto, man, I just expected it because as I started to look at it, close and closer we got to the draft, that name just started popping up more and more. You go out to his combine, go out to his pro day, then you hold a private workout. And when it gets to that point, man, and you've seen the last couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
when it gets to that point, 9 times out of 10, you know that where it's going. And Brian Baldinger, NFL analyst, actually said he had a premonition about the Falcons taking a quarterback at number 8, and he was absolutely right. And let me tell you why, I get it. You look at quarterback purgatory the last couple of years. Ever since Matt Ryan got traded, Marcus Mariota, he did okay, but he was just a bridge guy. Then you turn the reins over to Desmond Ridder, who did not really get the coaching that he needed in Atlanta. So that is a problem. Then last year, when Desmond Ridder finally got the call, we begged for it and begged for it. But the system that he was in with Arthur Smith did not work out.
Right.
So now you get a new coach, and I tell you all the time, new coach, 9 times out of 10, they're going to want their own roster, their own scheme, their own quarter, their own everything. So now you go out and get Kirk Cousins, $180 million, I get that. Don't have a problem with it. You get another quarterback to come behind him like we should have did with Matt Ryan, and this is where this comes into play. Raheem Morris learned from that. Josh Freeman in Tampa Bay did not have a backup plan. Guess what? It cost him his job. So in the long run, he said he learned from that mistake. So now he has a quarterback in place after Kirk Cousins and possibly for the next 5 to 10 years, depending on how everything works out. So I actually love the pick because it just makes so much sense because we don't want to go back to quarterback purgatory anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So just think about that, man. Just think about that.
Yeah. Anything you want to say there, RJ? Before I go in?
I'll say about the Michael Penix like pick. I mean, I ain't really realized how big it was gonna hit, media wise. This may be a premonition. Once he gets on the field, we may be primetime TV.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the Falcons, I believe it was on Bleacher Report. They posted they had him at the second ranked quarterback on their mock draft. So I mean, pure passer. I mean, it's pretty much what Zach Robinson's offense all about. It's going to be pretty much mostly passing offense, and he pretty much fits the bill, especially with was it 2 torn ACLs. I mean, you don't really expect much of him running anyway. So his job going to be throw it and keep it pushing. So I mean, I'm not really surprised at the pick at all, especially getting that the 5th-year option on the contract, because of course, if they just leave for 4 years, they don't want to have like a what's the name in Packers?
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. They don't really want to have that type of situation. Like probably decline and give them a contract and then see how it works out. So I think this was pretty much probably the best move. I understand how a lot of people not liking it. They were seeking pass rusher pretty much because we haven't had that in years. But hey, I mean, I'm all for it now.
Facts. And I agree with that 100%, AJ. And you got to think too, like you said, scheme fit, and that's what we're thinking about. You're thinking about scheme fit down the road, and trust me, down the road is closer than y'all think. 2 years can go by just like that. Right. And think about it, like I said during draft night. You got to think about the situation that he's put in. Every quarterback, 9 times out of 10, are only going to be successful as far as the situation that they're put in. The top 3 quarterbacks that went off the board, they're on rebuilding teams. But you look at Michael Penix, he's in a win now team and probably in the best situation. If anything happened to Kirk Cousins, I would be comfortable with bringing him in over Heineke. And that's only because if I done made that draft choice, I'm going to deal with it and I'm going to stick with it that way. So I just think about it. He's just in a win now situation. He's in the best situation. So he's one up on all the top 3 quarterbacks that went.
Man. Yeah, man. Shout out Southside Ricky that's in the chat, man. What's up, folk? He goes, but shout out to you, brother. Thank you for joining the stream, man. So yeah, man, I had dropped a video not too long ago, and it was via post that I had done on Bleacher Report this morning, man. Just going into a little bit more in depth with the whole Michael Penix situation and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and bring on right quick before I get on Ryan, the historian from Birdcage LLC. What's going on, Ryan? If you're ready.
Just give me 1 sec, fellas. I'm actually getting my camera. I was getting my camera up real quick or whatever.
Gotcha.
My lighting was wrong, but
no doubt.
But
man,
I'm definitely ready with everything else, though. I'm just getting this light right for you. Appreciate y'all having me on today.
Absolutely, man. You come right on in when you're ready, fam. You already got it. You already got the link. But yeah, with the whole Michael Penix situation, I was one of the ones on draft night with the damn. That sort of reaction, you know what I mean? And again, just gotta let that simmer down. You gotta calm down in a bit, man. And like Smitty, you made some great points, and then we're gonna take this baby back all the way to 2008, right? You mentioned the Matt Ryan situation. From 2008 to the better part of 2021, the Falcons have been spoiled at that quarterback position with Mr. Consistency himself, Matt Ryan. There was really no plan behind him ever. You can't really name a solid backup that we ever had here in Atlanta under Matt Ryan. At 2021 comes and goes, and then there's band-aids at the quarterback position. Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota.
There was one quarterback,
sure.
Matt Shaw, but it was way in his later years.
That was short-lived, man. That was very short-lived. Yeah. We ended up trading him for assets, right? A second-round pick we got from Houston.
Right.
For the young man. So, it's the plan that Terry and Coach Raheem really put in place back in February. We're gonna attack this quarterback room. We're gonna attack this situation, and we're gonna get it right. And that's exactly what they did. This has been the plan all along, man. they were giving us a couple shots here and there of what this draft can really be like, and it was all unveiled on night one, man. So for everybody that says otherwise, man, I'm for the pick, man. I'm for the pick. Kirk Cousins is coming off that tricky injury, that Achilles injury that can really, turn left. If he turns right, because he could re-aggravate it that quick. You bring a kid in like Michael Penix, the best pure pocket passer in this draft. You bring him right in, suits to what Zach Robinson's going to do. A lot of 11 personnel. A lot of what he did in Washington was 11 personnel. So there's familiarity right there already. So I'm for the Michael Penix pick, man. I'll give it a solid B plus. I ain't gonna lie, man. It would have been a little bit higher, but I'll stick to the B plus for right now. But Ryan is waiting patiently, so I got to hear what my guys got to say, man.
Right quick, I had to give it a solid A because of need and because of what they're trying to do as a coaching staff and as an organization. So I get it. But Ryan, go ahead, man.
Well, good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Everybody good, man.
I'll say this, man. I got to give it a B. I'm not giving it an A. I'm giving it a B because we addressed all the needs. When you talk about the quarterback spot, I get it. But in that second round pick, we reached. You could have got a Roro later. It was no need to draft down that low. Now, I said this on our show during the draft. I said we reached on that pick because let's be real. Roro came up playing a 4-3 defense, and he's a 3 and a 5 technique player. He is not a 0 tech. And for you to take a guy at that position, I said, okay, I was a little confused, and I said, what the hell? I said, okay, well, let's see what else they're going to do. So then they end up drafting Trice. They end up getting the kid from Oregon. And if anybody's got an issue with the kid from Oregon, I'm going to say this here. Understand the head coach that's at Oregon put all them Georgia Bulldogs in the league in 2021. So I'm letting you know now, the man understands how to recruit. Dan Lanning is definitely a defensive guru. So anything coming out of Oregon now, I don't mind taking on the defensive side of the ball because you got to understand they're going to be well coached. That is a Kirby Smart disciple. So if the Falcons aren't going to draft dogs that are coming out of UGA, guess what? Since they like the West Coast, guess what? You got a guy that was groomed in the Kirby Smart system, and you know those guys are going to be developed coming from the secondary, linebacking core, and also these pass rushers and these defensive tackles. And I got to say, I think the biggest steal of the draft is going to be this linebacker we got out of Notre Dame. Now, I'm just going to keep it a buck. Now, I really believe that he's going to be a steal because here's the thing. You got a guy that led his defense 3 times in pretty much tackles 3 years straight. And this is a guy that has been a main fixture. And he went through the coaching change when Brian Kelly left to go to LSU. And then you also had this gentleman to come in, Marcus Freeman, that's going to be the head coach now. So he was already, and he's also an Alpharetta guy, by the way, if you don't know. But now I think what they ended up doing, that they brought in Jace McClellan out of Alabama. I'm kind of confused about that. I get you got to replace Cordell Patterson, but you got Carlos Walker that is still in the building in Atlanta, who is a monster at running back that's been sitting on the practice squad waiting. I'll just put it this way. We get that we drafted Bijan in the first round, but this year you can't put the ball on the turf like you did last year. No excuses this year. You're not a rookie now, and you're not on scholarship. So if you keep putting that ball on the turf, you're gonna start catching hell. And I think the last pick that they made, now they picked the wide receiver that wasn't the last pick, second to last pick. They picked the wide receiver out of Illinois Washington, 4-4 guy. He's a guy that he's not going to jump out on the tape at you because he's not, how can I put it? He's not a number 1 guy. He's going to be a number 2 guy, but with the speed that he has running a 4-4, he can get off. He pretty much is strong enough to get off of jams from corners. He can also line up with safeties because he's about 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds. And he's got a very good catch radius for a guy. And he's also a strong blocking wide receiver. Lastly, Zion Logue, that right there, I believe they took that pick, and it's no disrespect because I'm a dog fan. I believe they've been taking dogs late because they want to shut Georgia fans up, because we've passed up on so many talented players like a Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was rated 95% this year, and he was better than most of your defensive tackles this year in the league. So all I'm saying is I really believe that Zion Logue is going to be a zero technique. They're bringing him in. Hopefully he can learn from Taquan Graham, Grady, because he's got the big body that can play that zero technique when you talk about being a down lineman. And I think he could be a steal. And just an honorable mention, there's a kid that I like I said, my man Berto know I'm always looking at cats from smaller schools.
Absolutely.
There's a kid by the name of Isaiah Wooden Senior.
Yep.
Southern Utah University.
Yeah.
If you want to look at him, I'll give you this way. For my old school Falcon fans, he'll remind you of a young Alfred Jenkins. For my Falcon fans that are more relevant, he's going to remind you of a Taylor Gabriel. So if they actually had DNA that they take in the lab and they put on a guy, that would be it. So check him out. Let's just say I got in contact with him, so I might be getting the first crack at him, fellas.
Let's go, man.
5'8", 170.
Yeah,
5'8", 170.
And folks in the chat, man, that don't know Ryan the historian, I don't know where you've been living, man, but go back to his page, man. 2 weeks of nonstop bangers. First, Steve Weish, and then former head coach Mike Smith blessed the platform. Unbelievable interviews, man, by you and the crew, man. So much respect, much shout out to you, Ryan. And of course, for those in the chat, Ryan, when you decide to bow out, please drop your channel on here in the comments. Those can go to the channel and go ahead and subscribe to your platform also. But we got the beautiful Miss Joy in the building with Bonnet and all. Please let us know your take on the whole Michael Penix situation. A little birdie told me that you were laughing at us and stuff like that, so we care to know. Can you clear that up?
What was funny?
Yeah.
What was funny? I want to know.
No, I just laughed at everybody because I don't think no one was prepared for Michael Penix. So I just laughed across the board because it shocked a lot of people who just wasn't prepared. But y'all was so serious and stuff. I just came on here to kind of put some smiles or something. Y'all all serious. But
man.
I'm not gonna give a grade. My thing is I'd like to see the performance on the field. That's gonna give me my grade on how they did, because honestly, we don't know these guys other than what they've done in college. So we really can't put a grade on anything. And then the last few times we've been giving grades, we've been failing for like the last few years. So I'd rather just see, what they do on the field. That's why I'm at with it. I am kind of happy that we did attack the defense on the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm just ready to see a different feel from what we've had these last few years, because of course, as fans, the ones who really get upset about, what goes on year after year after year, we're tired of saying, oh, next year or this year is going to be our year, next year like that. We're ready to see some action. So hopefully, worst case scenario, we make it to the playoffs. Me personally, I'd like to get a ring this year, but we'll see how it goes. Everybody got to get acclimated. But
true.
I see that you were spot on with the one guy, Berto.
Oh yeah, that's Brandon Dorley.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But I'm just ready for training and just see how the guys get acclimated to the new team and how the coach get acclimated to all the people. And then everybody's practicing and shit, so I don't know nobody names for real no more. Everybody gone and people moving around. But I do want to ask one question to y'all. I saw where there was a clip of some sort from the conference that they did in regards to cornerbacks. And Richie Grant is just not I'm on the line.
No, don't be on the line. Go ahead and jump over that line. The boy is straight cheats. I'm gonna sit here and tell you right now. The boy smell worse than burnt buzzard meat. The hell with that. He got to go. He got to go. He smelled worse than burnt fried chicken on a Sunday, bro.
Oh man,
I'm telling you.
Don't get Smitty started with the chicken. Oh please.
Man.
Why do you think about it? Why do you think DeMarco Hellams was brought in? That's who. That's who's gonna take his spot. And
he's starting at the beginning of the year, definitely. I think Hellams got that spot.
And we passed on. This is what I don't get, and I want y'all to hear this because I said this on the show, and y'all have heard me say this. We had a chance to grab TJ Tampa. He was there, and we passed on him. Baltimore jumped on him.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, Baltimore jumped on him like Luther Vandross used to jump on a piece of fried chicken back in the day. Real talk. Rest in peace, Luther. But Big Luther was that dude.
Not Big Luther, not Little Luther.
Not Little Luther, Big Luther. But I'm just being honest, dog. Like, just think about it. We've talked about some of the corners that have come out. Now, the kid that I also put out there, Berto, was the cat that transferred from North Carolina to Louisville. Young cat by the name of Duck at corner.
Duck, yeah.
We passed on. We had a chance to grab these guys. No disrespect to Washington, because he's, like I said, described as a receiver. We needed a corner because we just lost Jeff Okuda. I get we shored up that D line and we're going to grab pressure, but maybe they might be going after the cat that's coming out of LA that played for Raheem Morris. We're going to have to pay more. What y'all think?
Yeah, that probably would be the best bet now. It's just to circle back and get a guy like him, a guy that knows the system, knows what it takes to play in that Raheem system. So that would be the smartest thing right now to do, is to circle back and see what his market asking price is now. Or they can also venture into trading for a guy. You know, there's a lot of good corners on expiring contracts for next year. So definitely there's some, and that all goes to the cap and all that, how that may play out. But I think circling back to Ahkello Witherspoon would probably be the safest bet right now, man.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, I think they're waiting on June 1st cuts to see who hits the market. So maybe they could find a steal on June 1st when the June 1st cap hits, because they're going to be cap casualty. It happens every year.
I got one for you. Now, you talked about it. Here's a corner. Now, this is the thing that I don't get. Now, we got Coach Black on the staff now. Now, I'm a huge proprietor for HBCUs, heavy. You got a guy that's out of Virginia State right now, Mr. Willie Drew, that you could have grabbed, and that's Brent. That's literally Brent, a bigger version of Brent Grimes. So if anybody know anything about Brent Grimes, you got a cat like Willie Drew, and then you got Jaden Toles out of Morgan State that can play that safety spot that you could get for pennies off the dollar that will earn their way on the field. So what do y'all think about us passing up on some of these great HBCU players that they've even interviewed?
Man, probably just missed the mark. I don't know. It probably didn't fit the mold of what that secondary needs to play. But which I don't see, because both of those guys you mentioned are both physical corners, and Atlanta had one of the more physical secondaries last year. And then Willie Drew, he exemplifies that. He's a tough nosed corner. So to that, I don't know. Maybe they thought they can grab him in the undrafted free agency process or whatever the case is, but they're missing out, man. That's the best thing I can say, man. They should have jumped on him when they had the opportunity, for sure, man.
Okay.
But joining the stage right now, that boy Johnny is in the house. What's happening, fam? How you doing this evening, man?
Bro, what up, y'all? I just needed to get my bragging rights off because I called that Penix pick like on here, actually. I called it on here the last time I was on here, actually, bro. So I just wanted to get my bragging rights off for that, because I really saw that coming the whole way, man, the way they set up the staff and everything. So I figured we were going to take a big swing. And you can't be mad at it. Going from the QB room we've had over the past couple of years, bro, to this, like, how can you be mad at that, bro? Like, yeah, it was hella money, a lot of assets, but that's the most valuable position we got. Like, you can't fuck that up.
Yeah, that's true.
Very cool, man.
And Ryan, to your point, Willie Drew went to the rival Carolina Panthers.
Oh, he did get picked up.
Yeah, he got picked up.
Lord, that's all I'm about to say is Lord. Now all I can say is we got to see him twice a year. We gonna put foots to him. It is what it is. He a rival now, dog.
Yeah, man.
Facts.
Yeah.
We can't get them all. Can't get them all, but that boy Sadina Austin also, he ended up signing with the Seattle Seahawks, by the way. That's that defensive man I told you about out of Grambling.
Out of Grambling State, man.
And right from out of the crib, he went to North Clayton, College Park kid, and the boy is a dog. So they got a diamond on their hands.
Yeah, we're
gonna get another James Houston this year somewhere. We don't know where, but we're gonna get another James Houston somewhere. But let's get into this second pick. Ruke Ororo, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce that. But as Ryan said, he thought it was a reach. But when I looked at it and I looked at his film, and I think about two guys that went after him. Yes, Johnny Newton was rated higher. Yes, Tavondre Sweat was rated higher. But you got to look at the upside. You talk about a guy 6'4", about 295, 300 pounds, plays with a lot of power, takes on double teams, and they like that. But when it comes to upside, I think he has more upside than the two guys because I know Johnny Newton, he probably can be a 3-down player, but Tavondre Sweat, he's going to probably be a 2-down player, probably like Jordan Davis is, which I have no problem with either because you're going to put him on the field on second and third down. But the upside and his physical attributes is what I think put him over the top. And there's no knock to the other two guys because those two guys were the next two picks after him. So I agree with the pick to a certain extent, but y'all know I was a Tavondre Sweat guy because I just feel like he could have made so much more of a difference with Grady, Onyemata, and Taquan Graham and Zach Harrison. So we'll see how it plays out, but it was kind of a reach, but I think all three would have been gone. Go ahead.
I understand the pick, and I just don't think that Tavondre, even though it's a 3-4 scheme, and when everybody hears 3-4, oh, nose tackle is needed. Oh, nose tackle is needed. Coach Raheem, it ran the same defense he's going to run this year here. He didn't have a true nose tackle. He had an undersized guy by measurement at that zero technique spot, Brandon Dorless, which we'll cover on a little bit later on. But Rook, I give it a solid B on that one too, man. Let's look at his RAS right here. Out of all the defensive prospects that tested, he tested number one. The only knock that he gets is his weight because he's light, right? But the size is the one thing that you like. His versatility, his ability to play inside and out is what's attracting the Falcons to this young man right here. What is it? Johnny Newton is a small stature defensive tackle. Really, we have that in Grady Jarrett already, man. A smaller guy like that. We don't need another Grady Jarrett style defensive tackle. They're gonna have to start building this defensive line, sort of how Jay Rogers had his in with the Chargers back in the day. Jerry Tillery, sure they had Linval Joseph, they had Christian Covington. They had a lot of these guys that can play a multitude of positions. The only exception being Linval Joseph. So Rook makes a lot of sense. With this draft pick here, yeah, they traded up to get him. The kid has a nonstop motor. He's a twitchy kid. He's a big, lengthy kid. So I see why, and it's another piece to this Falcons defensive line that screams more youth because it's a very it's an older group by measure with Grady and David Onyemata in the middle.
Yeah, and you think about it, man. Versatility, we talk about that all the time, and that's what they're looking for. If you know with Dorless, he's probably gonna be another tweener guy that can play defensive tackle and end. And if they even switch up or play a hybrid 3-4 or hybrid 4-3, they have guys they can do that as well. So I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it. So like I said, I get the pick because, like I said, athletic upside is better than a lot of these defensive ends in this draft.
Slim Doula's in the house. What's happening, Slim?
Man, what the move is, everybody? How everybody doing?
We're doing
What's
great,
up,
man.
What's up?
Man, I'm mad y'all jumped off of Penix right.
No. Go right back to it. Go right back to it, fam.
Man, I've been screaming Penix for the longest, and to me, I think this was the smartest move Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris did since the Julio Jones trade. It's that high up, and the reason why I say that is because when a lot of people get on that talking about why you pay Kirk Cousins this kind of money, see a lot of when it comes from a Falcon fan, they're using that argument. They don't want to acknowledge, one, the Falcons is not a good team. So you're going to have to overpay for players, especially a decent player like a Kirk Cousins. But Terry Fontenot and them still trying to save their jobs as well as get wins. So when you get a Kirk Cousins, you expecting to win immediately, but you also expecting him to only be here for a 2-year period. That's why his contract was so front loaded. you would have had a better argument if his contract was spaced out through those 4 years. Then you're stuck with him for that 4 years. But due to the fact that you giving him everything up front, and you told Kirk Cousins within those 2 years, we're going to be actively looking for a quarterback. So the reality is, Penix made the most sense because you already letting Kirk Cousins know, I know you're going to get us some wins. So by us saying that, you automatically acknowledge we're not going to be able to get another quarterback coming up. So sitting a quarterback for 2 years showed by studies is actually more beneficial than to try to throw him out there in the fire, because you could mess up that boy's confidence if it goes downhill. So I think, and then if you look at most franchise quarterbacks right now, didn't start their rookie year or started late in their rookie year. So to me, this was the smartest move. But going to Rook, I think with that pick, it was more of where he's played. He played for Clemson. So that's more of like an NFL ready team. He's a space eater. And the same knocks that they were saying about Rook, they were saying about Grady Jarrett. So like, oh, he's like what they were saying, small or this and that. But now I think they're going for height now. They're going for height and arm span, arm reach. So yeah, arm length. So, and Rook is one of the top ones. I give it a B plus because I think they did kind of reach and they gave up a third for him. I think he would have been there if they would have just sat.
Hey, Slim.
I honestly don't think so. I honestly don't think so. Because if it was a run after him, that means somebody would have came back up the board. They would still had to move up the board to go get him.
Right.
So
that's true. But
they had everybody to go get their guy.
But they had higher grades over defensive tackles than him. So that's the only reason I make that claim. But it seems like when the Falcons get a position, there's a run on that position. So I think they know something we don't know.
Facts,
hey,
man.
Slim, but I got a question for you. Now, everybody's seen that their Clemson defense has fallen off since their former defensive coordinator's taking over their head coaching job at Oklahoma, Brett Venables. Brett Venables was responsible for majority of that Clemson run that you saw coming into the NFL, that 15-year wave of players that's coming in. And now that he's gone, that was one of those guys who I think he caught a Roro as a young guy. So that might have been one of the last wave of those, like you said, last of the Mohicans that might have come through. Do you think, and this is just me asking because you definitely put out some points or whatnot that were great, but do you really believe that Clemson defensive factory is going to be the same now that one of the best defensive coordinators in the game has left and went elsewhere?
I think, well, due to Clemson's name, it'll still have some weight to it for a few years. But until Clemson really fall off and everybody really start writing Clemson off, then I think that's when it started going downhill. But you can still ride the Clemson name for at least a few more years now, because just because they defensive coordinator left doesn't mean the philosophy left. So that makes sense. So I think they could probably ride it until it actually falls off.
Well, technically, it's done fell off. If you ever look at the last few years, fell off like a bad bag of dope.
Well, all right, let me throw it back to the Patriots. The Patriots had a bad 3-4 years, but nobody write the Patriots off as they done, and they was in the playoffs darn near every year.
True.
So I think just by your name alone, you could still and that's how a lot of these players, especially going into college, they look at the name of the school they're going to. That's a very popular school right now. So when you think of Georgia, I know I'm gonna have a high chance of going here. Look at Alabama, for instance. Their head coach is gone, but players are still going to go there because of the name. It's Alabama, so that philosophy is still going to be there, even though Nick Saban is not the head coach.
But it also helps to have a winning coach to walk in that door too.
Right, Washington. Yeah.
I got a question really quick before y'all introduce Wolf, because I know you about to say something about Wolf. But I got a question really quick about the quarterback position. I want to go back. So And I don't want y'all to be jumping down my throat, chat, and everybody on the panel because of what I'm about to say. This is just hypothetically speaking, because I was just thinking as he was talking. So, because we know that Kirk Cousins is not 100% healed from what I guess he was saying during his little conference when he was coming onto our team. Worst case scenario that he gets hurt. Is Penix thrown in the fire, or do we go with Taylor Heineke?
It's whoever
That's a good
knows the
question.
system. It's whoever knows the system. It's whoever knows that playbook the best, because this is a whole new system for Taylor Heineke that's walking in. So it's not like he's got the job handed to him. So whoever knows that system and has that number 2 spot is going to be the guy that's going to take over. That's just my opinion. Maybe I might be
the
wrong.
quarterback with the upside, and that's clearly Michael Penix.
Yeah. I think he'll pick up a little bit faster than Heineke will because of the way he ran in Washington. Y'all got to remember, Jimmy Lake was in Washington when Penix was there, so he can help him transition as well. So he has everything. He has everything in his corner. So,
I know this might sound.
I can see Penix taking over the backup. Go ahead.
I know this might sound crazy, but me personally, I don't think Penix should touch the field. I think it should be Heineke. Why? And the only reason I say that is because
experience.
The thing about Heineke is not just if you know you got him for a year, you better get your money out of him. And Penix can still learn in the background. You don't need him to get out there, because if Penix get out there and start balling out, then it's going to cause a quarterback controversy where you better not bring Kirk Cousins back in there, and Kirk Cousins is going to hurt you over the cap, over the dead cap, if you try to cut bait with him next year. You stuck with Kirk Cousins for 2 years, like hands down. You stuck with him for 2 years. So I would say start Heineke, and then you cut Heineke because you're going to cut Heineke next year. There's no ifs and buts about it. So I would say start Heineke, because you don't want that negative connotation to go on in the locker room. You know, when they started that interview, they said Kirk Cousins is the starter. If Kirk Cousins get hurt, you keep it going in the route it was already going. You bring in Heineke, and you don't, because what if Kirk Cousins was only hurt for a few weeks and he come back and he don't play as good? You know, fans are going to be like, bring back Penix. And you know, the Falcons, even though I know the salary cap now is not a major issue, but you don't want to take that hit, because then you're gonna have to cut. You're gonna have to cut him.
Yeah, you talking about $25 million a year for the next 2 years after he gone. So,
Another Joe Flacco situation.
Yeah, man. So waiting patiently in the wing. Our guy Wolf. Wolf, what's happening, Wolf?
What's going on? How everybody doing?
What's up, Wolf?
Good.
I've been waiting to hear your mouth, boy.
Man, look. So I'm not as smart as anybody on this panel when it comes to college football. I'm not smart like that. I'm still in 101 basic classes. So what I do know is the probabilities. And Raheem Morris just gave everybody a 50% probability to a question that needs to be 100% answered. And you go back to his first math. A lot of people avoid mathematics because it's hard. Math is so the first thing he says, we got option A, B, C, and D. Well, it sounds like a test to me. Like, you sit down, you take a test, you got option A, you got option B, C, or D. Now, what were those options? Well, it was definitely Justin Fields. It was definitely Kirk Cousins. It was definitely running it back with Desmond. Nobody wants to hear that, but that's what was one of the options. And it was definitely going back to the draft and getting the guy that you wanted to go get. Well, guess what? He gave you 50% because he got Kirk Cousins and he went to go get a guy, right? So he kind of gave you an Undertaker type moment. Now, last time I checked, the probabilities of a first round pick being successful in the NFL is 33%. Second to third round is 12%. And fourth to seventh round is 8%. So it's not even going to be possible if they're going to be successful in the NFL. So would you want him to do what we complained about last year about development? Because you already paid Kirk Cousins. He's a mercenary. I don't know why people don't get that. We've been paying mercenaries in the NFL for years now. Baker Mayfield is a mercenary. Jared Goff is a mercenary. Geno Smith, mercenary. Daniel Jones, mercenary. And when I say mercenary, they're duct tape. Kirk Cousins is probably Gorilla Glue, probably a little bit better than the great duct tape that you get at the store. That's what he is. I mean, I don't we got a B, we got an A. I mean, last time I checked, like all these players that got drafted get A pluses from me because they made it to a point where a lot of people couldn't make it to. You know, I've opened up my trucking business 20 years ago. There's a lot of people that can't even do that. They try to start a business and they fail at it, right? And then you have to pivot and do something else.
Yeah.
Being an NFL football player or any sport, it deserves an A plus, whether you get drafted in the first round or the 7th round. The problem is we're getting confused with all of this stuff right here. Everything is getting blown out of proportion because 2 months ago when he was hired, everybody crowned him the jewel of the town. Oh, Raheem Morris is back, all this and that, whatever. Now you're starting to see people question his judgment. And like I said, it's like a beach chair. They fold up very quickly. There's no bar stools, no back support, no nothing. Yeah. Now the only question I have, and the only mistake I seen was giving the franchise the keys to a 3rd round pick that wasn't worth anything, and that maybe got a nod from somebody who doesn't watch football. Again, Berto, I've talked to you. Smitty, I've talked to you. Arthur Blank's son was at the Cincinnati game and the Alabama game, at the Notre Dame game. Nobody else was there but Arthur Blank's son, but nobody wants to talk about that, right? When you're doing cocaine with white girls and stuff like that, nobody wants to talk about that stuff, right? Nobody wants to talk about that. So I think that Kirk Cousins has to finish the story. I think he's on a Cody Rhodes moment. He has to finish the story. Go out there, go get us a Super Bowl, or at least try to go get us a Super Bowl. I think you're able to compete now with the San Francisco 49ers. I think you can compete with the Detroit Lions, the Eagles, and even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think you can compete with these guys and go give it a run. See what happens, and then you bring in Michael when it's time for Michael to bring in and see what happens with that. I mean, I'm not going to crown Michael right now because I think all those quarterbacks that got drafted, it's different situations for all of them. Are you gonna trust Jacob Brissett to run 8 games in New England? When are you gonna sit Sam Darnold for JJ McCarthy? You know, we're not the only ones that have a question, but because we're the Falcons and we've been a laughing stock since the 28-3, they always question what we're doing. And
man, we've been a laughing stock since 1966. Stop it.
Well, listen, I wasn't born. I was born in '76, fam. So I can't tell you what Barkowski and them was doing with the white girls at that time. You know what I mean? That was.
Oh no, I get it. I'm just saying. Hey, hold up. I'm just saying we've always been the laughing stock, fam. You know that, Wolf.
You know, I've been a laughing stock since I started my channel. I know that, man. I'm still here shooting videos. So you got to do something. You know, for the fan base.
Yep.
You have to do something.
Stand 10 toes strong on that.
You know, you gotta do something. And I told Berto, listen, what happened was an Undertaker moment. You know, you never thought the Undertaker was gonna lose at WrestleMania. Guess what? He lost. Get over it. Get over it. You know, it's the move on. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Like, you know, if Michael Penix hits, great. You know, you have a guy who can sling the ball. My question is, if that's your guy, then you have to build for a southpaw fighter. And it's very hard to build for a southpaw fighter. I don't know if anybody knows about boxing in here, But the reason why Sweet Pea, Meldrick Taylor, and those guys were really good at southpaw is because everybody had to do things backwards.
Yep.
So you're
because statistics show that most people train with right-hand boxers.
Exactly.
So left-handers get a. I'm a left-handed, so trust me, I love it. But the thing about what all you gotta really do is beef up the right tackle. Because that's your blind side now. That's basically, it's not no major adjustment because you still got it. What's his name? You got the
Storm,
right tackle.
You got Storm Norton that should be starting over McGarry.
Yeah, but due to the money, I don't think he's gonna start over him. I think he got to really win that job. But all you got to really do is really beef up the right side, and you pretty good because your left tackle is still good, but you still got to start preparing to replace him too.
Yeah. I'm just saying, there's a lot of holes that we still have on this team, and that's why I shot that video the other day. Because you got these Bucks content creators that say, "Oh, well, that was a bad thing, this, that, and third." Well, guess what? We split with the Bucks having they called our team putrid. Okay, cool. Well, we beat you guys giving the ball over 3 times with a putrid quarterback and a defense that had 42 sacks. You had 47 sacks. Now, the last time I checked, half of the league was in the 40 range of sacks. We actually have more sacks than the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry, the beloved Detroit Lions, because now all of a sudden the Detroit Lions are beloved across America.
But let me say this though about
you got to think too, man. The reason why the quarterback position, why they had the question in Atlanta. If you look at what happened with Joe Flacco last year, coming off his couch and throwing more touchdowns than Ritter and Taylor Heineke, that let the organization know we got a problem and we got to fix it.
Yes,
that's all you need to see.
And one extra thing too, to top off what Smitty was saying, to add on to that. You're not going to be able to plug up all these holes on a team. No team is. But your quarterback can cover a lot of those holes. New England, when they had Tom Brady, had tons of holes in it. But it was Tom Brady who covered up all those holes. So you didn't know that they didn't really have a good defense. You didn't know. The Falcons realized in this stretch after Matt Ryan's, because they didn't have a plan after Matt Ryan's, they realized we need a quarterback. So you can go get a defensive end, a Pro Bowl defensive end. You can go get another Pro Bowl cornerback. You can go get all of that. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going anywhere. Statistically shows you that. You don't make the playoffs without a quarterback. The people is out of what? The league's been going on for how long now? Over 100 and something years. Only 14 rookies made the playoffs. Only 14 non-franchise quarterbacks made the playoffs. So,
yep.
If you banking on those odds, you already lost. With the Kirk Cousins thing is, we know Kirk Cousins is a journeyman. And Kirk Cousins even said when he first got in the league, when they drafted him behind RG3, they said, look, we just trying to get your stock up a little bit and then trade you. But then RG3 got hurt. And that's when he really came out and showed himself. He's always been a journeyman. But the good thing about Kirk Cousins was he banked on himself. His Hall of Fame agent got him small contracts, but fully guaranteed. So the thing is, he gives you just enough because everybody runs that playbook Kirk Cousins is in. Everybody in today's NFL is running that playbook. That Shanahan, the type of style, Mike Shanahan, that's tweaked by Kyle Shanahan and all of them playbook. It's typically all the same. It's a RPO with it's kind of all the same. So Kirk Cousins fit the mold for all of that. And let's call a spade a spade. When you got Kirk Cousins, you didn't get him to go take you deep into the playoff. You got him to get you a winning season. because that's going to save Terry Fontenot's and Raheem Morris's job. So that way, it doesn't matter if you don't have a winning season. Terry Fontenot might not be here, so it don't matter what quarterback they got. So if I was Terry Fontenot, I'm gonna make that call. I'm gonna pay him that kind of money because he was the best available free agent quarterback. You can't go steal one. This ain't the caveman days. You can't go knock somebody over the head and drag them on your team. So you gotta pay. And what happens when you not a good team? You have to first off, you gotta acknowledge we not a good team, and you gotta pay. Everybody said we overpaid Jesse Bates, but no one's complaining about it now. And we overpaid Calais Campbell. PFF had him going for $6 million. We paid him $7 million. That's what you have to do when you're not a good team. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Now that you got you a good quarterback, which is Kirk Cousins is, he's a good regular season quarterback.
Well, who said he couldn't save his job though? Why can't he save his job?
Who? Terry Fontenot?
Why is it wrong for him to try to?
Well, Terry, first off, Terry
Cousins already know. Kirk Cousins already know there's no extension for him. He's going to be 40 at the end of that contract.
But
hold up. Terry Fontenot saved his job first off. His job ain't even on the line. You have a top 10 defense that has the number one red zone defense in the NFL from being the worst. And then you got one of the worst teams out of salary cap hell. Terry Fontenot got a year or two when you talk about on that job. Now, it was something else that you said about, now, Wolf, you use wrestling and boxing. I'm a fan of both, but I'm an attitude era kid. So I'm going to tell you right now, Terry, I'll say this. If I got to compare Kirk Cousins to somebody, I'm going to compare him to the legendary hardcore legend Terry Funk. Everybody loves him when he wins or whatnot, but he can never get over the hump, just like Terry Funk did. But getting back to what we're talking about. Now, you said it was a 33%. It's actually a 25% hit rate with the number one pick. Former head coach Mike Smith came on my show and talked about that. Former Falcons head coach. Y'all check that interview out too. And a lot of the time, like Mike Smith was saying, where you're going to get your hit set in the draft, these are going to be your lower round guys. The first and second round are crapshoots. The third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh round are your money rounds and your undrafted free agency rounds. Because here's the problem that we've had in Atlanta for the longest that no one on this panel has even said. The scouting department is the issue. The problem is most of these people go off of the feelings of a player. They make me feel good in the interviews, or they make a couple of plays here. No, my issue is this. We've been bringing in choir boys for way too long. The guys that they want to appease the crowds and the masses, and pretty much they don't want anybody with a little rough ends to them. Here's the thing. Some of your greatest football players have had issues. Look at some of your Hall of Famers. Lawrence Taylor. You look at, and I'm just using him as an example. Hell, Jerome Brown had an issue up here in Philly. He was always riding motorcycles, got in a couple of fights. He was a wild young buck. We don't want to bring in anybody with questionable past because Arthur Blank has been burned because of the Michael Vick situation still. Now, no one won't talk about that. Steve White said that even on our show. He said it in so many words because he can't really trash the Falcons because he still got ties there. But the issue that we've seen for years is they don't want to bring in guys that might have a little questionable past. We wouldn't be worried about a defensive tackle if they would have just took a chance on Jalen Carter. Everybody knows that's a generational talent right there. And he proved that this year in Philly, even on rotational snaps. And he eventually took Fletcher Cox's job. Let's be real on that. So when you look at how Atlanta has been, the scouting department has been god awful. It's been god awful. Just be honest. Most of the best players that we've had have come in the lower rounds, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth rounds. That's what we've been hitting.
Well,
we've been fortunate to hit.
Let me add this too, though.
This
is another reason why Terry Fontenot got the job, because he puts his fingerprints on this roster just like he did in New Orleans. As I told y'all, him and Raheem are building this team. But what was Terry known for in New Orleans? Building dynamic offenses.
And also being able, and here's the other thing you forgot. Terry has always been known for being able to go to schools. Here's the difference between their scouting department and ours. Their scouting department is not just going to sit around and let ESPN and you're going to watch all the big time schools. Let's be real. Their scouting departments went out and got guys from smaller schools. Think about it. Look at some of their best pass rushers that they've had. You get a guy out of UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio, and he was paired up with Cam Jordan, and they still been held down there in New Orleans for us, even though they're bad. So Terry Fontenot has built.
He went north of the border as well. He went to the north of the border as well. You know, you talk about Dunkin' Donuts, Aaron Harris. You talk about Devin Bro in New
nobody want to
Orleans.
address that. That's the elephant in the room.
Bro in New Orleans. Yeah. So I mean,
I would love to know what I
found
need to respond to. It says ATL hometown Atlanta Falcons. Can Berto respond to that? Just drop the question and I'll respond to it. But fam.
But also,
we got DR in the chat. Hold on. We got DR up in here, man. We haven't heard from him yet. So if you're there,
yeah, I'm here. Listen, I'm from Arizona, and I just left Atlanta a few months ago, and I heard Smitty, are you doing grades for the draft?
Yeah, I hate Desmond.
Man, watch your mouth. Listen, I wanted to give my grade for the draft for the Atlanta Falcons. Can I give it?
Absolutely. Floor is yours, doctor.
I give him an F. You know why? They gave away some of the most talented quarterbacks I know in the last 3 months, where they cut some of the best talent they've had in years. And I just want to ask my brother, the historian, has he ever seen anybody that came and encapsulated such a crowd at the Benz and then get kicked out on his behind just because somebody named Fontenot, who named Fontenot anyway? What kind of name is that? Named Fontenot want to cut me off the team. So
you really want me to you really want me to call out your identity because I know the voice.
No, you don't know nothing, historian. Don't even talk to me. I'm gonna talk to Slim. Slim,
what's up, Steve?
All that stuff you talking, Slim.
Listen, Dad. Listen, Dad.
Take a breath, because all that stuff you talking.
Listen, Dad. I was pulling for you, man. I'm telling you, I was pulling for you. I seen you in person.
You were pulling for me. You were laughing every time in Uncle Steve's stream. I saw you out there. All of y'all.
Man.
Acting like you outside hitchhiking. Don't act like you were hitchhiking. You were
Dez, look, I said, it was Arthur Smith's fault. He should never put you out there, man. It wasn't your fault. You ain't know what you was doing. I seen that when you threw that interception against the Carolinas. You were sitting on your knees.
Why you want to bring up stuff like that? Why you want to bring that? Look, y'all can go ask Butter Pecan. I mean,
God damn, man.
Y'all can ask him up in New York how I led the team to the only touchdown. Listen, Butter Pecan, before you turn off that strip light, that strip club light. Listen.
Hey, come on, man.
Who threw the only touchdown in New York to that game you went to?
Oh Lord.
All right, the name right there.
Exactly. So I'm just telling y'all right now, I'm giving you an F for your draft pick. I don't like Michael Penix. I don't like Kirk Cousins. I can't wait to throw the ball to a real receiver in Marvin Harrison. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this one thing. I love that.
Hey, take them 16 turnovers you had in Atlanta and take them chicks right back with you to Arizona. You don't need it.
Hey, Berto, Smith, I gotta run,
sir.
man. I'm about to go do something.
All right, no doubt, man. We appreciate you coming out, man. Thank you for always coming through.
Everybody, man. But listen, man, if anybody wants to feel like coming over and educating me, because Kirk Cousins is more like the Brooklyn Brawler. You know what I'm saying? Than Terry. You know what I'm saying? He more like the Brooklyn Brawler. If you want to educate me, fam, and you want to come through, let me know, because I can educate. Matter of fact, he ain't even the Brooklyn Brawler. He Iron Mike Sharp.
Man, he ain't even, bro. He ain't
Mike Sharp.
Wait a minute,
That's
Wolf.
what he is. He's Mike Sharp.
Wolf.
He's doing the crown right now.
He's Gilbert, Wolf.
Gilbert.
Come on, right? Don't do that.
You insulted Terry Funk. You insulted Terry Funk, the legend Terry Funk from Texas. Oh boy. But anyway, it's your boy Wolf Solidified, man. Come through, anybody, man. When I go live, come through and educate me. But Kirk Cousins needs to win a Super Bowl this year in New Orleans. He needs to win a Super Bowl in New Orleans, getting crowned in New Orleans, an enemy territory. That's what you need to do. And everybody can hold me to that if they want. It's your boy Wolf Solidified. I'm out of here.
Peace and
Y'all for
salute to
giving me
Wolf
his link. I
Solidified.
finally was able to subscribe to his channel, dog. I'm happy now. I get to see his
That's
channel.
wonderful, man. And that anonymous voiceover was Uncle Steve. So make sure you guys show Uncle Steve some love at Uncle Steve's Lounge.
How you get balloons on the screen? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know where the hell that came from.
Are you doing this from your iPhone?
I ain't doing nothing.
No,
I think
I'm
some
asking you.
of the
Is
fans
it an
figured
iPhone that you have that you're doing the live from an iPhone, Apple phone?
Yeah.
It was doing the same thing with my iPad. It's a feature in there you got to turn off. That's what I found out because I was doing.
What is it? So when I do like this, it make the balloons go?
No. It's a software thing. It's a glitch in the software. That's what it is. It's something stupid.
Yeah,
That's why I
gave
don't
me some
use it no
balloons.
more. Yeah,
Your birthday till July, so we got a while for the balloons come.
Right.
Shit.
And I ain't fresh yet.
Damn.
I'm messing that part up right now.
But y'all made 2 points about with when Terry Fontenot was the assistant GM for the Saints. Even then, when Drew Brees left, they didn't have a plan at quarterback. This is why with Terry Fontenot, it makes all the sense to make sure you have a backup plan after Kirk Cousins. Because when Kirk Cousins leave, even if Kirk Cousins get us a Super Bowl, you still gonna have to cut bait with him because you can't keep him. Because on year 3 and 4, he will be hurting the team more than he's helping the team. So he could get us a Super Bowl within year 1 or 2. You still gonna have to cut bait with him, and then no quarterback. From my recollection, ever went back to back winning Super Bowls. So even if he got us a Super Bowl next year, you still gonna have to cut bait with him. So you gonna have to push Penix in the driver's seat anyway. Kirk Cousins, to me, the reason why Kirk Cousins got mad that the Falcons got a quarterback is because he realized, okay, the contract is 2 years and now it's locked in. I know after 2 years I'm gone, and that's basically what they was telling them. Because a lot of people was talking about Terry Fontenot said, "Oh, if Penix have to sit 4 or 5 years, that's a good thing." Everybody and their grandma knows Penix is not going to sit for no 4 or 5 years. Like it's just not going to happen.
Man, he's gonna be pushing after year 2. He's gonna be pushing for some playing.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, truth be told, I think the Atlanta Falcons trying to pull the LA Rams, and I think the thing that's going to get them over the top, they have to find a Von Miller type pass rusher. And if they can do that, then we got a chance at a Super Bowl. Not saying that we don't with the team currently constructed, but they need to go out and get at least one more pass rusher. And I think they're going to do that post June 1st because they're going to be somebody out there.
I think they probably pull AK or the pass rushers they have on the team to the side and say, "Hey, look, man, we really banking on you now. You really got to come through." Like, because they really went in on that defensive line, the defensive tackles and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they trying to up AK's usage on the edge. And I really hope they put Anderson out there on the edge and see how he goes. Because you already put Landman at that middle linebacker spot, so he needs somewhere to go. He could do good.
Yeah, that's going to be a trial. That 6th round pick or 5th round pick, JD Bertan out of Notre Dame. That was an interesting pickup there. That was a very interesting pickup. It was a good pick. The kid's a captain. The kid's a dog, man. He has some good comps. He's a sideline to sideline linebacker in his own right. And in this system now, you need 2 pure middle linebackers. So Nate Landman and JD could carve out some serious playing time. That's a good problem to have because now you can take a guy like Troy Anderson, like you just mentioned, Dula, and possibly experiment with him as an edge rusher. Caden Ellis, as we all know, he can rush. You know, he did it primarily in New Orleans up the middle, but he does have some pizzazz and some moves. You can probably, experiment with that on the outside too. So Terry and company, they're going to find how to get sacks and pressure on the quarterback with multiple fronts, man. So what they did in the early rounds, addressing your second, third, and fourth with back-to-back defensive player picks, it really, really speaks to what Atlanta wants to do. And that spring forwards us into the third round pick, Braylon Trice, highly talented edge coming out of Washington, was, as a matter of fact, I'm going to bring up a graphic right here, right quick. I'm going to show you how productive this young man was, man. For all the Latu fans and stuff like that, which would be me, I came across
but Berto,
this right here.
I had Braylon Trice on my radar from the jump.
Yeah, man.
One, after they took Jimmy Lake and made him defensive coordinator, you got to bring somebody that he's familiar with to ease his transition over to a defensive coordinator in the NFL. And I think this is the type of guy to do it. And you talk about pressures. He's right. He's 20 past Latu, so he's a guy that can get to the quarterback.
Right.
Who your comp?
High motor. On who?
Who your comp? Like, who you think Trice comp is?
Braylon Trice? Man.
I take it old school. I say Lamar Whitley, Steelers. You talk about a tough-nosed player who can get after the quarterback. Yeah, I say Whitley.
Because of the motor, because of the high-end motor, Joey Bosa, when he's healthy, has a high.
You sold my. I would say Bosa, because that boy don't stop. You got to shoot that boy. You got to shoot him.
Exactly. You do.
You got to shoot him when he get off the bus.
Man, I got one for you. I'm gonna go old school for you. He played for us, but he also played for the Buffalo Bills. I gotta go Cornelius Biscuit Bennett. That's what I see when I see this young man coming off the edge.
Love it.
I can see that.
That's what I see. Now, I get Bosa, but I'm gonna be real with you. You look at the motor, you look at the type of bend that he has when he goes around. That is a God-given talent. Everybody doesn't have that. Bruce Smith had it, Cornelius Bennett had it, and it's only a few. And you got to be born with that type of bend when you get around, and he creates a lot of havoc. And he's a good run stopper.
I'm gonna bring up this one again right quick.
You forgot one. Yeah, Ricky Jackson was like that too.
Hey, we ain't finna mention no Saint players up in here, man.
Hey, man. I get it, man.
Notice all the
Ricky Jackson.
Notice all the pressures. Notice all the pressures, right? You got Braylon Trice, who's now a Falcon, Lateu Latu, who's a Colt, Jared Verse, who's with God knows who. Well, with the Rams, right? What do you don't see Dallas Turner? So for those that are big Dallas Turner fans, proves my point even furthermore. Dallas Turner did not impact any football games, and if the Falcons would have took him at 8, you would have been drafting a situational pass rusher. Sorry, because he just wasn't that dude. I'm sorry, man. Really sorry.
You know what it is? Fans go off of what the media say we should have, and they run with it. That's why
they going with Alabama, bro. That's one thing, like you said, the brand. And you got to understand, he wasn't the best pass rusher at Bama. I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago. I said, if you're going to go get a guy, if we can't get none of these top rushers, go get Chris Braswell out of Alabama. That is the guy that was the problem over there. Dallas Turner's numbers, and it's a lot of cats that's probably watching this that's cool with him. My cousin is friends with his mama, so it is what it is, but I call it for what it is. That boy did not eat until, let's be real, he only ate when Will Anderson was there. That's how he ate. His numbers decreased when Will Anderson left. But
that goes back to what I was telling you about the name. The name travels. If you from Bama, they assume you have the philosophy of being a showstopper just because you come from Bama. But it's more of a, because when I seen they pick Michael Penix, I saw how the fans, they paused for a minute and then they looked around and said, how do I react to this? That was more of a, it wasn't what the media told me to like, so I'm not going to like that. That's what it was.
Hey, Smitty, this is why, man, we shout out to all the viewers and the folks in the chat, man. We got some 3 incredible comps right here for Braylon Trice, man. Greenwood.
Is
another one. Greenwood, okay.
Yeah.
Suggs
is a good one.
Shout out Anthony White, Brandon Graham. I love it. I love it, man. Yes. But you can see, you see the formula that's being put in place, man. They're not going to have one homegrown pass rusher. They're going to do it in a plethora of ways and create pressure in a lot of ways. Remember, this is a copycat league, right? I think everybody can agree to that. So what one team is allowed to do and show, the NFL world piggybacks right off of it. Like I mentioned so many times on this show, Indianapolis did it last year. Indianapolis had 3 edge rushers or 3 edge rushers that had close to double-digit sacks, man. So they didn't have one primary edge rusher. They came in forms of three. Atlanta now, Arnold Ebiketie, Braylon Trice. I'm sure the next guy that we're going to talk about, which is my guy, and which I view as the fucking steal in this 2024 NFL draft, of Brandon Dortless out of Oregon. I think that this kid can make some damn noise. It's a shame, and haha to all other 32 teams that, or 31 teams that missed out on this kid. But this right here is your Kobe Turner. And for those that don't know who Kobe Turner is, third round pick last year for the Rams out of Wake Forest, led all interior rookies and the Rams in sacks with 9. And how Coach Ra used him,
Aaron Donald rookie record.
man, it's gonna be exactly how Dorless is gonna be shown to the NFL world in Atlanta. Coach Raheem lined up Kobe Turner everywhere, up and down that defensive line.
I was just about to say that.
You even saw him at the zero technique over the center. Like, he had no business 6'3", not even 300 pounds lining up over a center. But he took a gamble and it paid off, because that first step quickness and that explosiveness really allowed everybody else around him, to get noticed and make money. So that's the beautiful thing about this Brandon Dorless pick. I love it. For me, I had to break this down on Bleacher Report. I gave this damn kid an A. I gave the Falcons an A for this one, because this is damn near second round talent that you found in the 4th round. So shout out to the Falcons on that one. But Brandon Dorless, man, watch out for that name.
Yeah, you got to, man. You talk about a tweener. He's a tweener also. Quick twitch. Talk about a solid run defender. And you talking about closing, speed, and pursuit. He has all the tools.
He reminds me of the Dominican too.
Yeah, and Taquan Graham, I hate to say it. You better watch out for your job, man. You got 2 solid guys that are coming for your job this year.
This is what the room looks like now.
You already have Zach Harris in there. So
yep. So this is what we're looking like right now with our defensive tackle group: Grady, Omanyata, Rook, Dorless, Graham, Street, Goldman, and London. Can't really count on. Yeah, you really can't count on Eddie Goldman. Laqueo London, rotational player, but easily could be overtaken, or his snaps could be overtaken by Contavious Street, Dorless, or any of the latter guys up here. But that's what the Falcons have. That's what they're working with. And and another thing too, man, finally got Grady more than one guy to come in and help and keep him healthy and pressure down the stretch in a rotational system that they're going to be doing, man.
Yeah, and this way,
I got one for you guys. You're talking about Brandon Dorless or whatnot. If y'all don't really know, he's a Deerfield Beach guy. And if you want to know what type of stock he came up in the same stock as JPP. JPP came from that same high school out of Deerfield Beach. So if you talking about those boys down there in Florida, that's that Florida speed that you add in. But the difference is he's got a bit of a mean streak and a nastiness to him. If you watch him, very aggressive hands. And he's just one of those guys, like you said, Smitty, with this and Berto, this room, because Berto was heavy on this dude. I got to give you that. Bro.
Yeah.
This dude here, adding that type of edge, you might have a JPP John Abraham on your hands, which we've been missing for a long time.
Only thing about Dorless, I say, is he can play anywhere on the field, but I think he need to find his move and don't burn himself out too early. Because the thing about him is he's super aggressive, and that's good in college because a lot of those offensive linemen gonna probably be working at Home Depot. You in the pros now, so
come on,
you're in the pros now. They're gonna use your energy against you. So if you don't look at, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Tack McKinley played himself out of the league because he played himself right into the offensive line hand. So. And I think Dorless he could play anywhere, but he just needs to find his move. But he's gonna be a good piece. Like that was a steal. That was a steal, just like Trice was.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Trice is still on the floor.
Think about this, though. This is probably the reason why they overlooked T'Vondre Sweat. Maybe Raheem Morris and Jimmy Lake have a plan for Eddie Goldman if he sticks around. We talk about a guy 6'3", 360 in T'Vondre Sweat. But Eddie Goldman is 6'3", 335. So maybe that's the big guy they're going to count on for this season and probably look at that position, getting that space either next year or sometime in the draft. So, I mean, maybe they just have everything mapped out to where we're going to stick to this plan at the draft. Ain't no need of reaching for nobody. We're going to add depth, and we're going to add it to the key position that we need. Because running back, I said they should take a running back. McClellan kind of surprised me, but other than that, that's all they did was fill for depth. To me, to be honest,
I
Yeah.
don't trust Eddie
these
Goldman,
guys
bro.
are not
I
going to
just
be
can't.
rotational guys that can come in and start right away.
To
Just
me, I
think
think
about
Goldman position was they needed someone that strong to carry both Gatorade bottles during preseason. Like,
Man, you can't trust you, bro. You can't even trust him to do that. That's like, bro. That's like
like
you
for
trust
real,
God.
Goldman knows he out the door. Like, and I think they using him. They plan him to try to give him a chance to get back in the league, but I'm pretty sure he know by preseason they're gonna probably part ways with him.
But think about it though. He's been out of the league for 2.5 years. He's he's not in playing shape. It's a difference between being in shape and in playing shape. He is not in playing shape. I guarantee you, he been lifting them biscuits off the plate, bro. I'm telling you. You can say what you want, but I trust him. I trust him as much as I trust them jokers to protect me on January the 6th. That was at the damn government building.
Oh Lord.
Trash.
Yeah.
I can talk it. I'm a vet. I'm talking.
Y'all boys wild. Y'all boys
It's
wild.
the truth. Eddie Goldman has burned us twice.
Oh shit, that's a
times,
fact,
dog.
bro.
But he was good with the Bears, though. He played
But
good
here's
with the
the
He
Bears.
held his
was
own.
never
He held his own.
good. He was good with the Bears. You're right, but he was never good with the Falcons because his ass was already at the door.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
But I think his heart wasn't in the game no more. Like, if you're gonna pay me a check, I'm gonna jump in there. But I don't think his heart was in the game. That's why I don't fault Vic Beasley. His heart wasn't in the game no more, so he bounced. So that's like being in the military. When you know it's time, you know it's time. Go ahead and let it go. Because by you being there, when you know you're not in there, you're gonna get somebody hurt.
Yeah, that's true, man. Who we got next, man?
I just can't trust Goldman, dog. I get what you're saying about the plan, but here's my thing: if you can make it past training camp, once I see you on the field, that is when I can trust you. And I'm talking about not during the preseason. If I see you lining up during the season, that's when I can trust you because you're there, you're getting your paycheck. But at this point, it's pretty much like a fart in the wind, man. You can't trust it.
But hey, he got a good check for what he got a good check for him.
Well, let's look at the running back position, man. We look at Bijan, we look at Tyler Algier, and we know this another pick where I think they were looking at the future. Even though you may not have to pay Tyler Algier a boatload of money because he was a 5th round pick. So he may get a deal with 3 years, probably $12 million or something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. So this is a pick that I think to keep Bijan fresh and to keep Tyler Algier fresh. Or you can have Bijan line up as a slot receiver and you can have one of those guys in the backfield. So this is no more than a depth piece. And it was an okay pick, but y'all know I was heavy on that Braylon Allen train. He went to the Jets because I felt like he could have been a red zone menace, a guy that you can bring in the fourth quarter, wear down defenses, and close out games. But tell me what y'all think right quick on this pick.
It's inconclusive for me because a lot of the stuff that I see from Jace, man, he's one of those scat backs to me. That's what he looked like in Alabama, and he doesn't have an array of footage because he's always been hurt. That's the thing with him, man. He was never really able to show, what he can actually do. From game one to the last game, he's always suffered some sort of injury. Wasn't able to finish out seasons. So it's inconclusive for me on this one, man. But to your point, Smitty, it's nothing more than a rotational piece or a depth piece. But his Ryan there also brought up a good point, and it's Carlos Washington Jr. that's still on the staff, and that can ball too. So it could be a nice thing. God damn, hold on, I gotta see this shit here. Hold on, big Please have Butter Pecan read this. See, first of all, gotcha. Ain't nothing wrong with eating biscuits off the table. Ryan, please talk about the biscuit situation off the table.
And that's that. That's man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all crazy. Perry Potter thoughts that Vic Beasley playing in the UFL. Yes, he is. Has anyone seen a game yet? I haven't. I asked. Yes, he's in the XFL. He's with Arlington. But Perry Potter thought, man, y'all go check him out on YouTube. He always shouting out positive vibes, so y'all please go check him out. But yeah, Vic Beasley is in the UFL, and he actually played pretty good last year.
But he had a gap before he joined. He didn't leave the NFL and went straight to the XFL, didn't he?
He played for the Raiders.
No,
he played for the Raiders.
The Titans. In the Raiders,
yeah. Because I know he said, because even Thomas Dimitrov said that he told him his heart wasn't in it. But I guess that money talked. But with the running back, this was puzzling to me. And the only reason why I say that is because unless you just play him on special teams, where he's a kick returner or something like that, where he's playing for that type of position, you could have used that draft pick to get a safety, something that you probably needed, a cornerback. It was a few good cornerbacks still in the top 100 undrafted. So you could have got somebody to. Now, granted, I understand you're not going to be able to get every position filled that you need, but you could have made a lot of use with that pick, because I just don't see him being able to contribute that well with this. And it is a depth piece, but I think it's more of a preseason depth piece where he's going to be playing in the preseason. But outside of that, I just don't see him unless he's on special teams.
Right. True.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Let's welcome in Ron Thomas.
iTest. Hey, Ron, what's up, man? Let me get this super chat out the way right quick. iTest, that's Winston Thornton, man. Y'all go check him out on Facebook, and y'all can also check out the podcast on YouTube. It's about time that we get some tractor trailers instead of them pickup trucks. We've been getting, if you need one player, you need somebody to back him. And that's absolutely correct. I definitely agree with that. Thanks. Y'all go check out Winston Thornton and John Harris on YouTube and the iTest on the Facebook page. But go ahead with what you were saying.
I want to ask y'all about the running back. What if we trying to get that pass rusher from Cincinnati, and we trade Tyler Algier?
You can't trade no Tyler Algier for no pass rusher. The value don't.
You don't trade William Andrews 2.0. No.
Yeah, the value don't mix. So you unless you're talking about giving them some picks to replace that value, the value don't add up.
Because that kid that you're talking about, Henderson, that's out of Cincinnati, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's also been the second lead tackle on that defense as well.
Right.
So and
on 15 million.
And when you look at the money that they're gonna ask for, they're and the Bengals are not a team that trades players. They're not a team that trades players. Right. And they're very, let's put it this way. They're the type that'll squeeze ketchup packets to put into a ketchup bottle. That's how cheap and tight they are.
Yeah, they
that's
cheap.
the best way to describe it.
Yeah, they definitely cheap. Joe Burrow is actually the first person they actually paid.
Exactly. I want to ask Slim, how do you feel about our quarterback now, Slim?
Oh man, look, everybody on this probably panel could tell you, man, I've been screaming for the roof for Penix, man. I've been screaming for him.
No, keep that same energy that you had on that other show, and you said we were not going to get no quarterback with our first pick. You said
now, hey, Smitty, before the draft, didn't I put a comment saying it makes the most sense to get Penix, right? And I was going back and forth with somebody, but I was saying it makes the exact most sense to go get Penix. And the reason why is because, one, now granted, I wanted an edge rusher. I'm not going to lie. I wanted an edge rusher, but I said the smartest move was to go get a quarterback, because if you look at Kirk Cousins, he's going to give you a winning season. You have a higher chance of getting a winning season with Kirk Cousins. You're not going to be in the top of the draft to go get a quarterback. So unless you have that backup quarterback already ready, you're not going to get one. So you're just waiting for Kirk Cousins to leave to go back in the quarterback carousel.
But you were not saying none of that on the Waffle House show.
What? Hold on. What was I saying? Because first I was pulling for Justin Fields.
You were saying this is what you were saying. We will not get no quarterback with our first pick because we just paid Kirk Cousins. That's what you said.
No, when it first happened, yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody wrote off them going to get a quarterback in the draft. So I said, okay, it's most likely an edge. But as I started seeing that the Falcons was going to go work out Michael Penix, you're not going to fly a private plane out there to go give this man a workout in a 50-degree weather if you're not serious about looking at him. So that's when I started thinking about it and saying, you know what, this makes the most sense to go get a quarterback now, because Terry Fontenot, one, is playing for, he's trying to keep his job. You can't have another losing season. Now, granted, people might say he got 1 or 2 more years, but why would you want to go the next year in the hot seat? Like, that's crazy. So, yes,
but you can't.
But you
can't be surprised
because he helped build this defense and got us out of Cap Hill.
Right.
There are not many GMs that are competent enough to do that. Y'all keep trying to put Terry Fontenot on the hot seat, dog. It ain't happening.
Right.
No. But Arthur Blank is 81 years old and 1 foot out the grave.
If it's anybody that should have been put on the hot seat long time ago, it should have been goddamn Rich McKay. His money
he should have been gone a long time ago.
Now let's be real. Let's be real, Slim. The way that the media has painted this situation, I don't bring race into a lot of stuff, but let's be real. The way that it's painted is you got 2 African-American men that are in this front office that they're trying to make it look like they fumbled the bag because they didn't follow the narrative. Now, the only thing that they did wrong,
I agree 100%.
Now, here's the thing. The only thing I feel like they did wrong was this. If you knew you were going to go get Penix, or you knew you were going to look for a quarterback, and you knew you were going to take that, you at least on a professional business level. Hey, I'm letting you know this now. I know you're signing your contract. There's a possibility that if a quarterback falls to us this year, we're going to take him. So I'm letting you know this now so you can prepare for it. But
they told him that.
Calling him like 20 minutes before you make
minutes before
that was very unprofessional. So and let's just be real. And I don't ever speak on this, but I'm gonna speak on it now. I'm sorry, Smitty. I got to get it out. It took time for us African Americans to get in positions of leadership in the NFL. It started from guys coming up from the coaching ranks, the scouting department, and when you look at it, it shouldn't have taken that long. And now we have somebody that's competent as a GM, as a first-time GM, and you have finally a guy that's getting his second chance as a head coach. So the way that they moved, it made them jokers look like they was having a shaky deal, bro. It really shaky.
Now, only reason why I don't agree with that one is because they told Kirk Cousins' agent. They told Kirk Cousins. They told them within those 2 years, within the first 2 years, they're going to actively be looking for a quarterback. Now, they called
I can go back further than that, though, Slim.
But here's the thing.
I understand what you're saying with that, Slim. But think about what Raheem Morris said at the combine. He said, we had another quarterback, I wouldn't be standing here. He let y'all know from the jump. He was going for a quarterback.
True.
And I'm sure they called up to try to move up the board to go get one of the top 3 guys, but the price was too high. But
here's the thing, though.
They got the best pure passer in the draft.
But Slim, but here's the thing, though. As a businessman, you're running an organization. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just using my podcast as an example. If I'm going to make a move on something, I'm going to let my team know what's going on from the jump. So guess what? You're giving them an option to prepare for that. That's what I mean when I said I think that was shady. Now, you're going to go get a quarterback. I ain't got a problem with that. But my thing is, if you're going to run business, you need to run business to the point to where you don't have guys coming here looking like you're not going to get free agents if you run business shady as hell.
Well, I got a report.
Hold on. Because Kirk Cousins was in the same situation
exactly
9 years ago when RG3 was the first overall pick. Commanders circled back and took Kirk Cousins, in the 4th round, right? So Kirk knows this
that
is
was
a
shady.
He knows
that was real
exactly.
shady.
Yeah, this was inevitable.
That was a Dan Snyder call. Now you know.
Wait
a minute, hold up. That was an owner call on that one. That wasn't Shanahan. Because Shanahan don't operate like that.
Right.
And the reason I know that my godfather played for Shanahan, Clarence K. By the way, if y'all don't know who he is, he's the tight end that got hurt that gave Shannon Sharp his start because Shannon Sharp was gonna get cut by them. 7th round pick. Y'all can go look it up. But getting back to that was Dan Snyder. That was Dan Snyder.
The problem that I had with Kirk Cousins and being mad about that, if he was, is if you going out and do your job, you shouldn't even worry about what's behind you.
Speak on that.
Because at the end of the day, you got to fight for your job, whether he down or not.
And you
even
got
Tyler Heineke was the backup, you still got to fight for your job. So
here's the thing. It would be shady if the Falcons got Justin Fields and then turned around and drafted a Penix because they're both young. You got an argument there, but Kirk Cousins is old. He's 38 years old, and I'm talking about in football. You're not extending him. And you gave him $100 million contract, guaranteed. I don't need to call you for nothing, to be honest.
Right.
That's your job. We had the discussion that we're going to be finding your backup. I don't need to tell you nothing. It was a courtesy for me to call you. So the thing is, he could go to the bank. What's that song? 99 problems, but a backup shouldn't be one. So reality is, you knew they are going to be replacing you. That's part of the business. The reason why a lot of these quarterbacks right now, they get mad when they bring the backup is because you realize you're looking at the wall. That's it. You realize you're looking at the wall. So now, either you going to run at that wall or you're going to run through it, whichever one is going to happen. But guess what? The team is always going to put the team first. They're not going to care about no Kirk Cousins. They don't owe Kirk Cousins nothing. They gave him $100 million and $50 million right up front.
And I never said they owed him. I just said on the professional standpoint.
No, they don't even owe him a
That was all I was saying. That's all I was saying. But I mean, just be real, dog. 20. I say at least they did give him a call. It's sucks that he did it 20 minutes before they made it, pulled the trigger. But I would have honestly thought they might have hit him up a day before. That's what I would think. Man, you hit him up a day before.
Now
20 minutes.
That situation is different.
20 minutes though.
Think about what happened with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan got caught off guard by Deshaun Watson. Now that's disrespect.
That was disrespect.
You led this team for 14 years, but you end up getting a call and really showing over the TV that they going after Deshaun Watson without them telling you. Oh yeah, I be traded after that. But
that was a McKay case. That was all Rich McKay.
He ain't played her down.
That was all Rich McKay on that one.
Right.
Because if anybody knows this, Terry Fontenot did not have full autonomy that he has now. So that was all Rich McKay.
Let me ask you this. Did Kirk Cousins give the Falcons a hometown discount? Did he give the Falcons any kind of discount? Did he say, you know what? My wife is from here, so I'll look out. No, we had to overpay for him. So the thing is,
I got a question about that. Now, it's $100 million guaranteed. That's we're pretty much paying in the regular market right now. And we did overpay. I think we overpaid for 4 years. Yeah. I believe it could have been a better deal. I agree with you on that. But the question I have, because now you did say a hometown discount. Now you're 36 years, because he's 36, I think. 36, 37. He's not 38 yet. But you got a guy that's coming in, and you're coming in to a situation, to a team that's ready to win now, right? Here's the question I got for you. If you're a GM with him, why would you front load that much money off the rip on a guy, and you know that he's coming off of a major injury like that?
Because that's the less money they got to pay on the back end, and dead cap space go down. That's the only reason why they did.
And they knew the reason why they front loaded it is because here's the thing. Fans only care about the next season. The owners think about 2 and 3 seasons ahead of this. They front loaded that contract because they knew by 2 years, we're going to have a backup that's going to replace you. They already knew it. They shook his hand saying, we're going to have a backup that's going to replace you. So the reality is they told him within 2 years, we're going to actively be looking for a quarterback. Terry Fontenot even came out on TV and said, there's going to be another quarterback in that room. The only biggest surprise that the Kirk Cousins camp said was, we knew, this is what they said. We knew they was going to be looking for a quarterback. We just didn't know that they was going to take it at 8. It don't matter where we took it at. You just know you looking at the wall, and that's just the reality.
It's time for you to ball. Because guess what? Think about it. Joe Montana did it in San Francisco when Steve Young was brought in. Right. And think about it, he had to keep him off. And y'all are old enough to remember, because I'm just 37. So I got to catch Montana when he was leaving San Francisco.
I'm 37 too. So we same.
Okay. So you and I got to watch it when he left San Francisco.
Damn business.
Yeah, we got to watch it when he left San Francisco. But let's be real though.
I'm old, man.
Let's be real though. When he had that competition when he had that heat on his ass with Steve Young, you saw the best football out of that man. Even though he was already an MVP, those were some of the best numbers he ever put up in his career, because he knew that Steve was breathing down his neck. Do you think we get that same type of performance from Kirk once he comes off of injury? Because Montana was coming off of injury when they brought Young in with that back injury he had.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to increase or decrease. Kirk Cousins knows what he's going to do.
So you think it's just going to be a mid performance all the way through?
I think Kirk Cousins got something to prove, and he can prove it this year. He feel like, y'all think I don't got it no more? Oh, y'all think I'm not the man no more? Oh, watch this. I finna go out here and ball. In my heart, that's how I feel.
But let me ask you this though. Here's the thing: if he goes out and ball, you still got to cut him in 2 years. So what is he actually proving? Because usually they use Aaron Rodgers.
But here's the thing: we know it's gonna be a team that's going to be desperate enough, that's going to need a quarterback,
right?
Not no 40-year-old. They're gonna give you a couple of universal circus tickets.
But Slim, he'd have to take a discount if he goes anywhere else after this, bro. He ain't gonna get no more money like that unless his agent works that type of miracle again. I'm gonna have that man start negotiating my goddamn contracts with the VA, trying to get my last 10%.
But Kirk Cousins said that in his press conference. He's gonna retire as a Falcon. He knows he's at the end. Like that's the same with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan knew he was at the end of his career, so he went to the Colts and completely bottomed out, because look, there's time is always undefeated. Because Kirk Cousins, when he got to extend that contract, he's 38. He get hit again, it ain't gonna feel the same when he 36. It ain't gonna feel the same. He gonna get up kind of slow. Tom Brady learned that. Brett Favre had to learn that. So the reality is, you can't escape time, and the teams know that. Ain't nobody gonna say no.
And since you brought that point up, then why is he worried about who
that you did at one point either? That's the other thing. Most of your quarterbacks are playing well beyond into their late 30s, early 40s. So with the way that the rules are set up now, I get what you're saying. Now, if this would have been the league that Montana and Young played in back in the day, when you could tee off on quarterbacks, bruh, I would say, yeah. But now the way that they protect quarterbacks now, man, you can't even fart near them without a flag being thrown, bro.
How many quarterbacks played past 40?
Well, Rodgers right now is still getting ready to be playing past 40, so that's all we got.
We had a total of 40. Who?
You said who else, Smitty?
Drew Brees.
I got another one for 40. You. Steve DeBerg played past his 40s too.
He was 42.
And we took him.
Warren Moore was 43 when he was
exactly. So it's an example of quarterbacks that were playing till their age. Because here's the thing:
but
Kirk
ain't
Cousins
nobody
is a modern day Steve DeBerg. That's the best way I can describe him. He's just paid now.
But I don't think nobody's going, because even if Kirk Cousins, let's say, playing to his 40s. Right now, he's trying to settle his family down in Atlanta. That's the reason why he came to Atlanta, because he's trying to settle his family down. There's nothing for him to prove. He's not going to get an extension here because they already got his backup. So even if, let's say, the Falcons managed to trade him.
Mhm.
It's only beneficial for the Falcons. So you take on his contract. We still got Penix. The Penix trade was a win-win for the Falcons because if
you
Kirk
set
Cousins
yourself
come
up
out
for the
and get
future.
hurt, we still got Penix. If Kirk Cousins come out and ball out, okay, we just balled out. But guess what? We still got a backup for for Cousins.
Slim.
Yeah,
You
and
gotta
in
look
2
at it
years,
like this.
in 2 years, you got big contracts coming off the book and Jake Matthews and Grady Jarrett.
Right.
So you get the cap space back, and then the cap space will have went up twice.
And
by
then
then.
you
So
start,
that-
and you
that
still
won't even
continue to
bother
build
you.
your offensive line right now
Right.
to protect
Right.
Penix because we already know
Also,
of his injuries.
also the
Go ahead,
NFL
Ryan.
might take those those picks for us next year. So
I don't really think
but
that they really care about that.
Out, player.
They don't.
They already got their quarterback. They ain't
Right.
worried.
So
Yeah, I don't think they care
if
about
Kirk
that.
Cousins go out here and ball out of control, we might trade him for 2 draft picks.
Who
But
gonna give you 2 draft picks for Cousins?
Who's gonna
I
who's
just
gonna
said
be silly enough
injuries
to give
happen
2 draft
every
picks
year
for
to
him?
a quarterback.
This ain't
Ron.
mad like this. That's a Madden
We
projection.
said the same shit on the other show.
That's a Madden
Injuries
projection.
happen every year in the NFL. Yes,
That's
no.
true. But nobody's gonna give you 2 draft picks for Kirk Cousins who can't
You
get
don't
you.
know that.
The league already knows Kirk Cousins is not getting you deep in the playoffs, but he's a good regular season quarterback. So why would I pay you that kind of money? Well, quarterback who just got 1 win. So
once again, you got these young teams, and I just said injuries happen. If your team's that good and you think you missing a quarterback that can get you to the playoffs, Kirk Cousins, the ball out of control this year, and somebody call us up, hey, I want Kirk Cousins. I give y'all 2 draft picks. Then what? Then what?
if they do that, then trade them. We got
we'll take
Penix.
those draft picks.
But all right, let me ask you this: What kind of draft picks you talking
Wait a
about?
minute,
What
yeah,
type
that's
of
what I
draft
was
picks you
getting
think
at.
they
Don't
get?
even matter. No, they draft.
No,
It
it do.
it does
It
matter,
do.
Ryan.
It do.
You're not gonna pay. You're
Because
not
a
gonna
draft
pay
pick
Kirk
has
for a
a
bag of rocks,
monetary
bro.
value to it.
Bro,
A draft
we
pick
not
has a
finna trade
monetary
him.
value to it.
Well,
Bro, we
I'm
not finna
saying
trade
it
him
could
for a
be
can
a
of potted meat
third
and
and
saltine
4th.
crackers, man. What's wrong with you?
But what?
Dog, you think about it, dog. We not finna take a 5th and a 6th round pick
No,
for this
I
dude.
said
If
a
we ball
third.
out, if they give us 2, if they give us a 3rd and a 4th, I can see that. I can
Right.
work with that.
You mean
Or
more
even
like
a
a
low round
6
or
and a
even a
7?
2nd.
But
You mean more like a 6 and a 7? Because here's the thing: you can't build around Kirk Cousins because he's already. That's like teaching an old dog new tricks. You can't build around him because you know you're not keeping him for that long. The Falcons. If ESPN did a great segment about the Penix. If you look at Penix's age and you look at all of our elite players, they are all the same. They are going to grow with Penix. Kirk Cousins, you can't build around him. You can only put him in there and hope his expertise on that football supersedes the knowledge it takes in these plays. For instance, give you a good example. Look at Tom Brady when he went to the Bucs. Everybody knew how Tom Brady's how he get down with the ball. So you had to get on his level. With a Kirk Cousins, you don't do that because Kirk Cousins is a good regular season quarterback. This is why the Vikings said, look, we don't think you're worth that kind of money. Right. So either you're going to jump ship or we just going to have to let it go.
How many times?
Why do you think I said he's a Steve DeBerg? Steve DeBerg went around to multiple teams and was a solid quarterback everywhere he went.
That's all you need.
I'm going to give you another one. Baker Mayfield. He's a solid quarterback.
He just got a bigger contract. So what are you talking about?
Baker Mayfield is not even in the top of. Yeah, he got a nice look. What is that? $100 million, but it's still, $50 million guaranteed.
Yeah, like $100 million.
He still fleeced Tampa for that contract, bro.
Baker Mayfield is worth that though. He's worth that kind of money. He's worth that money
in Tampa Bay.
Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield is no slouch. He's worth that kind of money. If the Falcons got Baker Mayfield, we would be happy with it. because he's a good quarterback.
Baker Mayfield is up and down like the Scream Machine over Six Flags over Georgia, man. Stop it.
But I guarantee you this.
Inconsistent, dog. That's the reason why everybody. That's the reason why everybody bounced him around like a joint.
Right.
Think about it. Everybody puffing and passing him, bro. He ain't been right since he left Cleveland.
RJ, you kind of quiet up there, man. You got something to say?
Yeah, because I'm thinking back in like Seattle when they signed Matt Flynn to a little, big good contract, and then Russell Wilson pretty much took his job and it pretty much made his contract, Matt Flynn's contract expendable. I mean, y'all pretty much saying y'all see the same thing with Kirk Cousins, with Michael Penix breathed down his throat.
Not in year one.
Not year one, maybe year two.
I think
year two, you
depending on if he's struggling year two. Yeah, it could be a move.
Yeah, I agree.
Year two, and God forbid that Achilles ain't 100%.
That's the other reason why Penix at number 8, because you see what this quarterback room has been hot boo boo for the past how many years, man? Just band-aids at the quarterback position right now.
3 years.
I don't think anybody can argue and say that this quarterback room for the Falcons is the most talented we've had in the past 15, 20 years. They don't have that problem anymore. What? Right now, they can play comfortably right now because they got a go-getter at quarterback 1. And, oh, by the way, they got a kid that's waiting in the wings that has a little something to say, too. Just not in year 1.
Thank God it ain't Bo Nix. That's all I'm going to say.
Me too.
Man, fuck Bo Nix, bro.
Why do you think I said thank God it ain't Bo turnover Nix, man?
And then look, y'all know how the NFL was giving us hell about Penix? The NFL did a little segment this morning where they said the Falcons got Penix was the best move ever. So the reality is,
it took for some NFL players to come out and actually call him out on that narrative BS. What? Your boy Michael Parsons did it. Yep. And CJ Stroud did it too. They all came out and said, "Nah, y'all."
I heard that shit night 1. I was on Bleacher Report and I heard that shit night 1 through the audio. Exactly. When Penix got drafted. There was a man. They're doing that kid wrong. There's so many bad narratives coming out. Nobody should be calling out that pick right now. And then to help out in the matter, Roddy White comes out as well, and he voices his right. He backs him up, so to say. So yeah, man. Hey, listen, the pick was Penix. The vision is in full force. The plan is being unraveled right before our very eyes. We don't have to struggle in the quarterback room anymore. And this is also the Falcons are saying this. We don't see this franchise picking in the top 10 for a little while now.
Yes.
So right there, that's another great problem to have as well. You pick your future quarterback at 8, and oh, by the way, you don't have to worry about adjusting your draft boards or starting your late or your early draft boards because your team is gonna be picking in that top half of the draft. No, Falcons are bracing themselves to be picking from 20 and up.
If we would have did this a long time ago, we would not be in the predicament that we is in.
Yeah, because I said we should have drafted Deshaun Watson way back in 2017.
Right.
So so don't make that same mistake twice, and that's what they're trying not to do.
Hey, look, man,
let's try to put to bed this age thing.
But man, this has been a great conversation. I knew it was gonna go over.
No, we got to do this again next week, man. We got to do this again next week. We got to do round 2, bro. I hope all of y'all are available. Ryan, I know you always lurking, you always available, man. Well, I shouldn't say always, but if you are, man, we'd love to have you back on. I'm gonna call Slim Dula now the professor because the guy came on here and he was just straight spitting fire, man. So, Professor, you available next week, man? Come on through. We're gonna be on here, of course. Hopefully next Sunday or something like that. Oh, we're gonna do a pop up.
That's the professor right there, man. That's the professor right there, man.
No, I'm the historian, dog.
That's the historian, man. That's the historian.
That man knows. That man knows what size shoe Roddy White wore in elementary. That dude knows it all, boy.
Hey, hold on. He was a state champion wrestler in high school, bro. That's why it was physical. But we got to get you on the birdcage too, bro. Smitty and Berto come on all the time, man. Them my other partners right there, man. You got to come through the birdcage.
Hey, man, I got to give y'all my number, man. We got to link up.
100.
Yeah, drop it in my inbox on Facebook or Twitter.
All right, I got you.
Hey,
Yeah.
Smitty,
What,
forward that
wait,
to
are
me,
you
'cause I
on
gotta
Twitter?
holler at that cat, man.
Nah, I'm on Facebook, man.
You on Facebook? I gotta find you on
Yeah.
Facebook, man.
I
gotta
be on
find you
Atlanta
on.
Bird game.
Okay, I
I
got
be
you.
on that page a lot, man.
All right, I got you. I'll send you a message, man.
Yeah,
But
I can only imagine you and Ryan getting on the same podcast, boy. It's gonna
Lord
be
have
that's gonna blow this shit up, bro. I'm there for it as a fan of
Ryan,
both of these
I'm
gentlemen,
praying
man.
for you.
You said what,
But
Ryan?
listen,
I will be praying for you if that
Bro, you
happens.
ain't listen. You ain't got to pray for me. I
Ryan can
got
hold
this
his
cat
own,
by
bro.
the tail. I ain't worried about it. We good.
Oh, I've been watching your
I like
shows,
this brother
Ryan.
right here. He
I've been
good.
That's
watching your
awesome, man.
shows, Ryan.
Oh man.
That's awesome. Hey, before
Hey,
we go,
Thomas,
let's
let me.
highlight this last one here, and then everybody can drop their socials. But DeAndre Grant Jr., thank you so much for that $5 donation. That's cool future on lock at the quarterback position. Penix starting in the next 2 years, but in Madden, he's starting day one. Yo,
Fact.
Oh man,
That's
I
what
would
I
not be
said.
I
surprised.
love it. I love it,
Depth
man.
chart change quick.
All right, man, folks, man. But that's gonna conclude the show for today, man. We had this show bumping, man. 480 eyes on us, man. Thank you so very much for coming through on a Sunday evening, man. We just, talking good old Falcons football, letting our feelings speak for themselves and our voices to be heard, man. But Ryan, please drop your socials. Let the folks know where they can find you, man.
Man, I love y'all on this platform. Y'all got to come back to my house. But if y'all want to check out my house, man, with my other family, the Magnificent Birdcage crew, check out the Birdcage LLC on YouTube. We have interviews from former athletes, former Falcon players. It's called On the Perch. That's our interview segment. We don't just have football players. We got everybody coming through. And also, it's mainly geared towards Falcon fans, man. Y'all check us out Thursdays, 8 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and also X. We're working on Twitter. I'm sorry, on X, and we're working on Rumble and a few other things right now. So y'all stay tuned, man. Y'all go ahead and smash those like buttons for these gentlemen here, man. There's too many people in here for these likes not to be up. Y'all please smash these like buttons because these brothers work hard. They have one of the best shows out here. I'm a fan as well as an antagonist at times. Not all the time, just sometimes. But this is my other family, man.
It's
So
all good,
y'all
man.
check these boys out, man. Thank y'all for having me on tonight.
Absolutely, man.
And shout out to K Dub and Red Beard and Gray Beard, man. His co-host.
Man.
Shout out to them, man. But Ron,
Yeah,
tell us
Slim,
where to find you, man.
Well, I was gonna go to Slim because Slim said you don't have no social, just you said Facebook, right?
I'm just on Facebook, man.
Okay.
Mine is Ibrahim Abdullah, but I'm on a Atlanta Bird game. I'm in the comments, so they'll find. It's easy to find. I probably will comment on a lot of that stuff, man. I love talking about this Falcon stuff, man. That's just my bread and butter, man. So, hey,
You've been rocking with the sports machine for a long time, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. The
man, y'all
professor
boys be
now
good,
on.
man.
Professor.
Y'all boys be good, man.
You too, man.
No
Appreciate
doubt.
you coming through,
Talk to
fam.
you soon, bro.
Yo.
Ron, talk to the folks, man.
Ron, what's up?
You can find me on Talk Your Ears. Come on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock on X, Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, all that. So,
Facts.
man.
RJ, we finna get you going, man. We got to get you up and running soon because you got to start giving out them social media. But they can find you on social media, right?
Oh yeah, on X or Twix. You can find me at my real name, Ross Heath Jr. Any type of breaking news like that I find, I'm gonna pretty much go ahead and retweet as soon as possible and give it to my boy Smitty, A1, who I don't know where he is, and 95 North. So most
He
definitely
missed
like
the action tonight. He was sitting around the house bullshitting. But I think he had schoolwork to do, man. So he get a pass. He get a pass tonight because he had schoolwork to do. So he graduating soon. So shout out to him, man.
Absolutely.
He graduating. So congratulations, man. So hey, it's an achievement, and hey, I'm proud of it, man, because I see Chris going places, man.
Yes, sir.
But y'all know where to catch me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Smitty 10K is Smitty 10.5K now.
Now you're talking.
Catch me on Twitter, man. I'm always starting stuff. And if y'all been watching the draft the last couple of days, man, I've been blowing up Twitter. So y'all catch me on Twitter at FatBoySnell_21 right there on your screen. Because trust me, I be having people rolling, man, because that's what I do. But as always, man, Birdo, gonna take us out, man.
Hold on, Ron. What you got to say before we head up?
And you can find me on Pops and the Henry Brothers on Saturdays, around 6 o'clock, and the eye test.
Gotcha, man.
Before I get out of here, I got to give a shout out to Blink and Stitch, Miss Joy, man. She been holding down the chat. She even came to join us today.
Absolutely.
Shout out to her, man. She always looking out. Please go check her out on TikTok. Well, she ain't got TikTok no more, but check out, man, Blink and Stitch. I think she got a website coming. She does t-shirts, accessories, purses, anything that you can name that you put a logo on, she can do it. But y'all, please go check out.
All right, man. It's your boy Berto, your host of 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube. I got some videos that I dropped today. Well, one today, one tomorrow being Brandon Dorless, and I just dropped one giving my insight on the Michael Penix situation. That was via at Bleacher Report. You could also find me on Bleacher Report on the 95 North Berto. Hit me with a follow, drop a comment, whatever, man. I'll be there to go ahead and respond, man. And I'll be back on Bleacher Report May 7th, man. I have to cook up something for the folks and hopefully deliver the best way that I possibly can. But until then, man, we'll give you a Sunday night back. We appreciate everybody that has come through again, man. The Falcons seem like they've have rectified the problem that has been longstanding for years, which is the quarterback room. So with Michael Penix and all the other draft picks that we brought in. To me, was a solid draft. Overall, we hit a lot of key pointers, man. Defense was the emphasis, as it should have been, after the Falcons put so much into the offense. So it was a defensive-minded draft. Can't wait to put this all together and see what this 2024 Falcons draft class is going to look like. But until then, Sunday night back to y'all, the viewers, the followers, the chat. Appreciate everybody for coming through. We'll catch you on the flip side, y'all. Peace.